Hello, my name is Lauren Beatty. I am completing the video blog 2-1 Relationships Between Technology and Society. I apologize, I have 3 dogs. They may make some noise in the background. I am doing this for class IDS-403-X4198, Preparing for the Future, term 17EW4, instructor Dr. Timothy Sherry. I'm sorry if I butchered your last name. The first section of Video Blog 2.1 is cell phones, how are they socially constructed? I also didn't mention, I apologize, that I'm covering cell phones as my technology. Mobile telephones consist of hardware, software, networks, and services supporting the use of portable wireless phones. During the 1990s, the number of cell phone subscribers went from none to half a billion people around the globe. Because we all know that it used to be where people had the big cell phones and only people with more money had cell phones, to where now virtually anybody can get some form of a cell phone at a decent price, depending on how nice a phone you get. Because of the boom of uses of technology, the purposes and use of the cell phone have grown tremendously from the original design purpose by still following the original intended purpose. The reasoning behind that is, even though the uses of technology for mobile devices has increased, at the end of the day, it still is used as a form of communication, which is what it was intended for. Attitudes, statements, behaviors of others in close contact are key in shaping on how one views and uses communication media. How human actions help shape the technology of cell phones. Where do cell phone technology come from? Social constructivism advocates that people shape technologies, not vice versa. Studies have revealed that there is a close correlation between consistent media use patterns within organizational groups, such as the use of integrated email use on cell phone devices for company-related functions. Companies today are able to virtually work on the go. They can use their phone as a hotspot to get on their laptop, to be able to work in airports or while they're on travel in their hotels. They can use their cell phones to continue to respond to emails, communicate with clients via text message or calls. Cell phones really allow people to work on the go, which I feel is a huge part of what shapes our technology, is giving people the ability to do more. In today's society, in relation to human actions, some members of society depict their mobile device as an extension of their personal selves. I believe that when someone says it is depicting an extension of their personal selves, I apologize, I'm shutting them out of the room. It's because people do not put their phones down. There's in some instances where you don't ever see anyone sit down their phone and they're constantly looking down and they're really not looking up at the world. I think, to me, that is what I get out of an extension of the personal selves, because it really is like a part of their body in a sense now with mobile devices. Cell phones are also considered, especially by the youth generations, as a fashion accessory or an item to show off an accomplishing item in their life. It shows how people's social status falls under what type of device they're using. Apple to Samsung is a great example. People might look down on someone if they're using a Samsung when they feel like Apple is the prime mobile device, versus someone that's more accomplished will have a nicer phone in the eyes of some of our society, versus someone that has a standard flip phone, maybe with no internet capabilities. And I believe that is a close correlation. The meaning ascribed by cell phone technology by one or more social groups. Mobile phones are cultural artifacts seen as instruments through which elements of self and personhood within family and peer groups. Social communications between family and friends are maintained through mobile technology. Business models are able to work any location and remain productive through the use of communication technology and mobile technologies, which I've already covered. Cell phones are also perceived as a device that is used for safety and security, to help for emergency services or to help in a dangerous or life-threatening situation. I know there was a year or two ago, there was a boy here in Tennessee that was working under a automobile, and he ended up getting stuck underneath the vehicle, where how he had jacked his car up had failed on him. And the cell phone was in his back pocket, and Siri went off, and he was actually able to call 911. So if he would have not had his phone in his back pocket and Siri went off, we will never know the moral of that story, other than the fact that mobile devices do save lives, and that is an important aspect of our society today. How cell phone technology affects social relationships. Distinctive uses of text messages among adolescents in England demonstrated participation in social groups, defended social network boundaries, and a foster sense of community. I believe that cell phones, especially in regards to text messaging, is a great way for people with maybe some social awkwardness who don't have the full confidence to talk to someone one-on-one. It gives them the ability to gain confidence with those individuals and build an ability to reach out and speak to individuals over a period of time where that person may have remained more introverted and did not speak out. I think that the text messaging and the social media aspect really does offer more options for people that are not quite as outgoing. And I think it's a positive thing in our society today with that technology. Cell phone technology affects social relationships by making communication available at virtually any point in day, at any location, at any given point in time. Cell phone technology also takes away human interaction that can hinder a personal one-on-one relationship with another human being. I do think that cell phones do hinder our ability to socially interact one-on-one when it's not looking down at a cellular device. I think that mobile technology and social media have somewhat driven apart, especially adolescent groups, where you see most of them hanging out together but mostly looking down at their phones. And I do think that is a close correlation of how it affects social relationships. How cell phone technology shapes the way people behave. The personal communication network helps change behaviors, give reinforcement, and continue the changed behavior over time. The increasingly productive uses that are being created for mobile devices makes the behaviors of people move more into an antisocial behavior, which I believe I have already covered. It is noted that the behavior of one behind a mobile device may act more negatively and mean towards another person because they are not presently in front of that individual face to face. Conflicts between humans and cell phone technology. The largest conflicts with human and cell phone technology is the negative use between human interactions. Bullying, acts being implicated against loved ones. Technology makes all of those actions readily easy and available at the human fingertips. I think because someone on another note versus someone who is introverted and needs that to build their confidence, I think there's also a level of bullying, and because they are behind a computer screen or a cell phone, they act more meanly towards that person because they do have that shield of that device. And I think that is a very large conflict between humans and the cell phone and social media technology today. Over excessive shopping and spending money is another issue humans face because their option is very readily available at their fingertips at any given point in time. I think that cell phones and computers alike, but you can download almost virtually any app you want to go shopping on, and someone that has control issues with shopping and spending money is going to have a harder time controlling themselves and overspending their finances because they can virtually spend money any given point in time. And I think that is a conflict as well. Being able to financially afford to keep purchasing new technologies and integrate the new technologies into their lives. I think that the cost of cell phones has significantly risen over the years, and the purposes have also risen too. But it does make it harder for average Americans to be able to afford these newer devices. The implications of conflict on people's relationships with one another. How might it affect social relationships and human behavior? Because of the social media aspect and the level of communications technology present in our society, the conflict of relationships between one another does at times have additional complicating factors because of the communication technologies. Social groups play an intricate role in the social construction of meaning by serving as a salient source of information, values, norms, and behaviors. Social groups often provide a standard that individuals are used to evaluate themselves and others. The meaning of social aspects and how it affects human behaviors and relationships is that this communication device influences part of the way people think and use communication technologies. I have also included a PowerPoint covering all of the items that I have discussed. Some of the items that I discussed in this voice blog was me basically freelancing and communicating my thoughts and views on the information that I pulled. I do have 2 pages worth of references. My main reference was one work study that was conducted over a period of time, and I wanted to make sure that I covered all of those individual references inside that work study. So that is why there is so many, but it actually was only out of one work study. This is my first video blog. I'm hoping that I did okay, and I will talk to you on the next video blog. Thank you.